Also, Andrew, if you put one man on an island with a few women, right? With one man, we can literally create a village. With 10 men, we can. If you put one woman, right? If you put one woman, it's completely different. Women build different. Women can have children. Men can inseminate. How do you say? Pregnate. Yeah, pregnate so many women. Men come to actually release their sperm. Sorry to say that on live. Put their sperm everywhere.
You're giving a lot of emphasis to this releasing of the sperm thing. A lot of body language on the whole releasing the sperm thing.
But it's like that. Physically, listen.
A lot of like they're really releasing it, right? Like they're setting it free. They're setting it free.
She's swallowing at the same time.
Because I'll explain. Because men, when men have sex, you forget about it. When women have sex, they get attached more. It's different. Everything completely different for a woman and for a man. And women don't get that. That's what I mean.
Andrew, what is your opinion about monogamous relationship? Should it be one woman, one man, or should men
Yeah,
be...
it should. And the reason it should, and that should be something which is not only normalized and pushed, is not just from the perspective of Christian ethics, but from a perspective of stabilization of society. Society has never done better, ever, than no societies, in fact, do better than societies which have monogamous populations. Because what it does is it guarantees the underclass of men who traditionally have never been able to send their seed free, right? They've never been able to set their seed free. Let it go, right? They've never been able to do that traditionally. In monogamous societies, they can. And so what you would consider the underclass tends to stay a lot more happy. And you end up with a lot more genetic diversity, which I think ultimately is pretty good for the gene pool. We don't want to be too interrelated. That ends up leading to all sorts of different problems, right?
No, Andrew, I agree with you completely. But I've seen, I grew up in a country when you have Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And you see the Muslims live in a certain way, the Christian live in a certain way, and the Jewish live in a certain way. And I've seen in all three that some of them have happy family, happy marriage, and it's not my point of view. Like in my religion, you're not allowed to marry with 2, 3 women, right? But I've seen people who live like that and they're okay. So, everybody and their culture. I'm not judging.
You guys can keep going.
Yeah, sorry.
I honestly feel like we maybe are, and not that I'm on the no marriage, but I also am on the I don't necessarily think that it's necessary. I don't think we did a great job of giving him reasons as to why he should. The thing that I wanted to mention, Brian, sorry, I know you're, but that you just don't necessarily want to go into it with that mindset, no, I'm like absolutely against marriage. I feel like it's like it would kind of
I agree with you.
Turn off some people. You should go into it with openness about it. And again, if you I think you hopefully will find someone who changes your mind on that. But yeah, I hope you're not closed off to the idea of you finding someone who you're just like, this person I want for the rest of my life. But then again, to my point, I don't think you necessarily need a contract.
Exactly.
Our society creates so many people who are have avoidant intimacy. So like in your case, like you said that you were dating someone with a long-term relationship for a year.
2.
So, and you said that that was the reason why you guys fell apart.
What? No. It was just the distance.
Distance, yeah. How the distance created the obstacles? I mean,
because they were in Europe.
Yeah, but did you guys have a connection with each other? You said that was one of your best relationships, right?
It was, yeah. I think it was just the phases that we were going into our lives. I was going into college. He was going into military in Switzerland for about 1.5 years. So I wouldn't have been able to see him for like over 1.5 years. So there's multiple factors that played into it besides, yeah. So,
but if there is true connection, and you as a woman really saw the potential. Did you see the potential with this man as your husband?
100%. But I was also really young at the time as well.
Okay.
So, but that person was also in the same boat as me, where he was like, I don't need a piece of paper to love you unconditionally, to show you that you're,
That's
my
avoidant
woman to treat.
personality, yeah. So it's avoidant intimacy. It's like both of you guys are avoiding that true connection and intimacy. When
No,
couples,
what do you mean we're avoiding it? We're very much in love.
What does this?
very
Well,
much-
hang on. What does this
if you are
mean? This
very-
idea that keeps popping up of true connection. Can you flesh this out? Because you keep saying this a bunch.
Yeah,
right?
because you're saying that I
the
didn't have a
idea
true
of-
connection
It
with this
is
person,
the-
but I know what type of
it is the-
connection that I had this
the
person. Are you saying I
most-
should have married this person?
No, I'm saying that couples who truly see the potential with each other, they should have a plan how they move forward. If there is no plan, then you are living up to whatever the universe for, and of course there's going to be disaster.
And when
there's going to
when
be
do you put that plan into place? Do you put
Right
that
at the
plan-
beginning. You gotta
and
know-
that's so much pressure. You're
it-
then gonna act
you
like a
have to have a-
perfectionist and everything because
No.
it's ultimately like, okay, I want
You as a woman-
If I started dating someone and then a week after they were like, all right, so what about, or so when do you think around the timeline? When do you think you'd want to get married? When do you think you'd want to? I'd be like, bro.
So it is about
this is week
it is
one.
about being authentic. Okay, first of all, if you want to pursue
I don't
marriage
think you
and
need
true-
authenticity, or I don't think marriage brings out authenticity.
I'm not talking
Well,
just
well,
about
hang
marriage.
on, guys. One at a time. Okay, so let's let her respond real quick. Go ahead, green dress. Sorry. I'm terrible with names, but it's easier for me to identify you by what you're wearing. So, but anyway, yeah. So, go ahead and respond.
Do we go green? Or
Green, so confused right now. Green dress, green shirt.
Sorry.
I think it is.
I think we lost him.
I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Did we lose
and-
No, I'm still here. I'm
Oh.
still here.
so
And-
Yeah.
you
So I was just saying,
address-
just one at a time, so that we can get to the heart of it. So if you wanted to start green dress with your point, so that she can
I
respond.
think
go
that
ahead.
regarding Andrew, a lot of if you grew up in a family when they have family values and you see your parents' marriage, and they have a great marriage and they're faithful to one another and they have good marriage, that's what you grow up to do. But if you grew up in a home when the either mother cheating or the father cheated, and this is what they see, this is what you grew up to be. Or if you're a young man that been cheated in your early 20s, and women treated you like shit and used you and dismiss you, of course you're gonna grow up to be scared from women and don't want to get married and be in a relationship.
But-
so it all really depends how you grow up.
Aren't we adults? And aren't we supposed to be responsible for our own choices, what we want to be? I mean,
No.
regardless
I tell
of
you
the,
why. You ask a question, let me answer. I tell you why not. Because a lot of the people, okay, they not even getting mature until they're 50 or 60 because they carry trauma. A lot of people, like
Yeah.
this girl that we're sitting here, she talked about her sexual abuse. In her being 19, she still carried that trauma and activate her life from that trauma. So a man that been hurt when he was young, or saw his parent get divorced, or whatever it is, they carry and activate their life and go through their life from that trauma.
Yeah,
so the
but
age
if
doesn't
you
matter.
understand that there is trauma that needs to be addressed, and that's what it takes to become an adult, to address it, to work through that, and make the choices for yourself who you want to be. Because if we would be the product of what was only happening in our past and dragging our past with us, then we would not be progressing in anything.
Well,
wanna
that's where I
answer
want to
you- I
ask
wanna
you. Did you, or I just want to ask you a question. Did you grow up with, or in a married household?
I was, my father, he died when I was 1 year old. I do know what it is to be that word that we're not supposed to discuss. I do know that in my personal experience, but the whole thing is to understand the trauma and to understand how to address it, how to, in most of the cases, for us as women who had a traumatic past like that, it's for us to understand what is happening, what is actually the result of our behavior, and how we are able, because most of the workers.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I want to answer her.
Dancing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to
Go ahead.
answer her.
Let's move it on. Make your final point.
Okay.
You each have 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to answer you.
10 seconds each.
Okay,
Go ahead.
like I said, you keep talking, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. Most people don't have a healthy inner conversation. They don't even figure out themselves by the time they're 50 or 40 or 60. So how are they going to come and treat the other person normally when they didn't figure out themselves?
Well, they can address to the therapist or people who actually know.
But they don't know
younger,
that they're in that position.
Younger
Most people
in
don't know.
age.
No, it's got nothing to do with age.
I
A lot
mean,
of
it is
people-
pretty
It has to
clear.
do with
If your
experience.
personal life, if your personal life is not to your standards, then it should be a signal
But
that
it's-
something is wrong, right?
A lot of people, listen, a lot of people have a really twisted inner conversation, like this girl that she looks normal, and when you talk to her,
She don't look normal.
you-
What? I don't know
No,
what
she
the
doesn't.
fuck you're talking
You
about.
keep going like this, and I'm like,
She
wait,
don't-
what?
no, not her.
me too. No,
Bro,
I mean,
she's got her lip is like she's got a second upper lip with all that fucking bullshit ass lip filler in it.
No, but she looks like-
furthermore, both of them, I'm sure the viewers have already come to this conclusion. They just walked off the set without any justification or for any reason whatsoever. Now, in the messages, she was saying that truthfully, I mean, you can tell by their attitude, they just, I don't know, oh, I don't want to be here, but we said we were going to be here, so we're here because whatever. She's saying, and this is the post hoc justification for why they left, because they sent me a DM. She said, wasn't really comfortable after I talked about my essay to defend myself, was on the verge of crying, don't want to embarrass myself like that. Even though we moved on from the conversation completely.
That's
Do you-
valid. I saw it in your eyes.
I felt bad for her.
I was
too.
I'm an
looking at it.
empath, and
What
I
do you,
can
what do you
see
mean?
that
Wait,
shit.
wait, wait.
You
What
have
do
to
you mean it's
understand.
valid? She brought it up.
But she's just 19. I
And
don't
she
think she
went
know
through
what
that
she's
trauma.
doing.
How are you supposed to know how she feels?
Yeah, I know, but the thing is like, if you, why would you bring it up if it's not something you want to talk
Because
about?
sometimes
Exactly.
when
Andrew,
people are
yeah.
put on the
I
spot, they
slightly
say
agree.
things that they didn't
Yes.
expect themselves to say, and
Yeah.
there's just that pressure.
She
on
wanted
them.
to let it out, and she
but-
was just waiting for the
Yes,
opportunity and the
exactly.
moment.
Exactly.
Okay?
And you're on a podcast
But
where
Andrew-
you talk. Like,
Unfortunately,
you're on a podcast where you
she
talk.
was in full control of what she could say and
No,
not
but-
say, what she could share and
Yep.
not share. We were told initially to
But don't
experience and share
emotions.
specifically what we were comfortable with sharing. So yes,
But-
although it may have made her uncomfortable, and I completely
I
understand,
think
I did not see
that
her.
we just didn't have a deep emotional connection.
But Andrew, Andrew,
Exactly.
Wait,
Now you got it.
1 second, Andrew. I totally agree with you when you said about the emotional connection. But we have to remember, she's 19 years old. She could be our daughter, and she's destroyed and damaged from the inside anyway. So you know, instead of
She's a voting. She's a
but
voting.
instead-
age.
She's
Like,
an adult.
Wait a second,
I'm
wait a
not gonna
second.
infantilize women. I'm sorry.
But
I'm
wait
not
a second.
infantilizing
Instead of
women.
bashing her
I'm not
like
doing
this,
it.
we could at least give her a lesson in this podcast so she could go
Yeah.
home
She's not here.
and think
No,
about
she
it.
got,
No,
she got,
she's
she
not
got a
gonna
great
think.
lesson on how to not be an
Definitely,
infant,
right? It's
I'm not
definitely
going to
bashing.
infantilize her because
Yeah,
of her
but
age. Instead,
somebody-
I'm going to treat her like the adult which she can vote as.
Somebody that abused their body and
definitely not
soul and
registered.
raped themselves
Yo,
over and
shut
over
the
again.
fuck up.
Sorry.
We
Oh my
specifically, multiple times coming from you, we told you before the show, avoid these topics. You've said it multiple times.
Sorry.
Goddamn, who gives a... She's probably fucking lying anyways.
You think?
I don't fucking know, okay? But I'm getting fucking upset because I've told you multiple times, avoid it.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. And you're just fucking making, you're like,
It's constantly at the same subject.
God damn, bro.
I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about
I
happy
felt bad
subject,
for her.
love,
I felt so bad for her, honestly.
and marriage, and relationship.
Could we?
She was-
I
How
don't feel like
beautiful
this
that
is
is,
about
right?
to cry.
I
She
think the
was
conversation of
very
marriage has
I'm
already
not
died
gonna
down.
lie.
It's now
Like-
conversed onto the Aussie girl and why she left. Now, can we move forward with anybody else's discussions
Yes.
on what they're against or what they're curious about, which Brian initially asked? It was simply,
Yeah.
what do you have against whatever I've said?
Yeah, that's a great
That's
idea.
literally all it's been.
Yeah, that popped off.
It was just
did.
one
Let's-
question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mia. Sorry, it's just frustrating. These two girls walk off.
But you didn't follow the instructions either. I just saw you lean out of frame. You were told not to lean out of the frame, and you leaned out of the frame.
I'm tiny.
You know?
She's just a girl, but only if it's so little.
That means they shouldn't be here. So they went to whatever they should be, and that's good.
Yep.
Can we
With the
continue forward?
gratitude, acceptance, whatever.
Bro, and
right?
I'll tell you, look, we'll move it on. I'll tell you precisely why we don't want to say those words, bring it up.
Why?
This girl walked off the show for precisely that reason. It's not a subject we're inclined to talk about. That's why we told you very specifically before the show.
Okay.
So,
I apologize.
because people get very sensitive over it, and honestly, I don't believe anything that girl says at all.
But she was about to cry, I swear.
We had her on the show for 8 hours 2 days ago. She's the same
Really?
person she was literally 2 days
Oh,
ago.
I didn't know she was here. Oh, okay, that's fine.
What about
So-
some of the stuff that we like sent in? Or
Yeah, we'll get to that. So,
sorry, I'm just trying to change this.
so okay. Anyways, any disagreements from anybody?
About what?
I say we should let go and move forward.
I absolutely disagree that there should be forgiving cheating of the partner in the marriage. I think there should be absolute commitment. I mean,
Not
and I can
forgiving?
only
Wait.
speak from my marriage.
I didn't understand what you said. No
Well,
cheating?
you mentioned that women